Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to part 2 of What If Deku Had a Dark Matter Quirk? Wait, I've already said it. You guys, sorry guys, my mic disconnected. You guys absolutely love this What If. 6k views, mad. We're getting back to the golden days, bruv. But anyway, I've only a few things to say. I won't drag out this intro too long. Please go down to the description, check out my thumbnail. Actually, we're going to start with priorities. That is not any shade. Please subscribe to the video. Get me to 22,000 subscribers. You guys got me to 21k. You're amazing. Also, please like the video. That helps me just make more videos, gives me determination, helps with the YouTube algorithm. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss another daily upload. And yeah, let's get on to the other important bit. Please go down to the description and you see my thumbnail artist, he's in there, Dyslexic Dolphin. Go subscribe to him, please. Get him to 1k subscribes. It will mean so much to me. It will help me out a lot. And yeah, join the Discord server. Join the community, basically. What else? You'll see my Instagram and my Snapchat there. Go add me on Snapchat, we'll have a conversation. Follow me on Instagram. Just follow me on Instagram. I'm not really on Instagram, but I appreciate you following me. What can I say? But other than that, guys, I won't drag this out for too long. That he's been collecting for the past few days. His level is now 45 and his stats are strength 45, agility 40, stamina 35, durability 50 and control 65. After adding the points, Deku feels the power rush through his body. He's 4 times stronger than before. As he finishes this, both his siblings burst into the room. Both his sibling and his mom burst into the room and yells, Izuku, your letter from your is here. As Deku opens it, a hologram of All Might appears and says, Young Midoriya, even though you were invited to UA on recommendation, you still decided to take the exam. And by doing this, you achieved the highest score in history, as you deactivated every single robot and even took control of the 0 pointers. As such, UA looks forward to being able to guide you into the hero path. After this, Izumi and Inko began to cry, as Zuko gave him the thumbs up, saying, That's my brother. And Deku just smiles and looked to the sky. In his head he says, Are you proud of me, Dad? I did it. 2 weeks pass, and we now go to Bakugo and Deku, who are walking through the UA gates. As they're talking about what they think the first day is going to be like, a brown-haired girl runs past and trips. Deku catches her, but he carries on walking before she can say something, and he even ignores her obvious attempts to get Deku's attention, while Bakugo just laughs at her. Then yet again, a blonde-haired girl runs and falls towards Deku this time, so he catches her in his arms. At first he planned to yell at her, Watch where you're going! But as soon as he made eye contact with her, he got this weird feeling in his chest, a warm feeling, and he began to blush. That's when the girl said, Wait, you're the one who saved me during the exams. After processing this for a second, Deku says, my name's Izuku Midoriya. The blonde-haired girl says, Thanks, my name's Melissa Shield. After talking for a few seconds, Melissa smiled at Deku and walked away. For some reason unknown to Deku, he began to blush even harder, and Bakugo noticed this straight away, was shocked to his core. He says, No way, does the Deku I've known my entire life, who never once in his life been interested in any girls, actually have a crush? After hearing this, Deku gets embarrassed and stutters, No, Karchan, I don't, stop it. Bakugo begins to tease him the entire way to their classroom until eventually Deku's had enough and he begins to chase him. And then Bakugo and Deku burst into the classroom while fighting. With Deku and yes, this is funny to them, but to everyone else it looks like they're proper throwing hands, because they are, but they're used to this by now. They've had proper training. This little combat zone is not much to them, if you understand what I mean. So for everyone else, this looks real. While Bakugan is still laughing, taunting Deku, saying, you like her, you like her. What? And he is still laughing. He was laughing until he tried to jump over Deku, and Deku caught his ankle and slammed him into the ground, like onto his back. And they began wrestling until Kaminari, so Denki, I'm going to say Denki, and Kirishima split them up, trying to calm them both down, thinking the fight was real. Until both Deku and Bakugo began laughing, saying, we're not fighting for real at least. Which confuses everyone. Eventually they all sit down, and Uraraka goes over to Deku and says, hey, thanks for catching me earlier. You didn't hear me when I said thanks, but I think that we should be Deku looks up and interrupts her before she finishes and says, oh yeah, sorry, I forgot, but you're welcome. Uraraka tries getting out another word saying, I think we should be and yet again, she's interrupted by a voice coming behind her saying, Izuku, we're in the same class, equal to form. Deku looks up to see Melissa and begins to blush again, while attempting to speak, but would stutter at some points. Uraraka seeing this would get annoyed, but would go back to her scene. Deku tried to talk, but he could hear Bakugo giggling behind him, and as such, dark matter tendrils shot out of his back, wrapped around Bakugo's head and slammed it into the desk, which would confuse Melissa, but make Kirishima and Denki, who are next to Bakugo, start laughing. Finally, Aizawa sits up from his desk in his sleeping bag saying, you're all so noisy, just sit down. After scaring everyone, they sit down, of course. And one by one they go to the front and begin to introduce themselves and their quirks. After a few people introduce themselves, like the little sad characters that no one really needs to know about, and I just had a heart attack. I looked at my audio and it said it weren't recording, and then it's froze for 2 seconds. Finally, after a few people talking, Melissa goes up and she goes, my name is Melissa Shield. And I know Melissa I actually don't know what her quirk is in the film or in canon, but in this one she says, my quirk is metal and technology manipulation. I can bend metal to my will and control technology. How do I show you? How about this? She clicks her fingers and her eyes glow slightly. Suddenly, Deku's phone vibrates and a message pops up from Melissa saying, here's my number, I hope we can be friends. Deku goes bright red, which makes Bakugo laugh even harder. Melissa continues, not noticing that Deku's blushing, and says, that's just a small example, but if I wanted to, I could connect to your phone, read all your information, and if I had enough metal, I could turn it into a different type of machine. I could even make it blow up in your pocket. After this scares everyone a little bit, Bakugo goes up and finally Deku. He goes to introduce himself and my name is Izuku Midoriya. My quirk is called Dark Matter. I can control dark matter freely as well as normal matter. But before he can get anything out, Iida interrupts and says to Deku, the Midoriya family, isn't that one of the biggest technology companies in the world? It's worth trillions. I mean, aren't they the owners to the biggest technology company in the world? It's worth trillions, like tens and hundreds of trillions. Deku smiles and says, you're right, but I don't think that matters. But then Iida continues, as well as apparently that the CEO, Hayashi Midoriya, was murdered and left his company to his eldest son, who was only our age. But the rumours are that he died because his son was weak and useless. After saying this, Iida realises everyone was really quiet until he looks over at Deku, whose eyes were now pitch black. Iida immediately realises that Deku was that son they were talking about. Deku's eyes, who are now pitch black, as well as his hair, which was... Sorry guys, that ain't a Harry Fox video without the mic disconnecting at least once, is it? What can I say? But anyway, let me find my script again. Oh guys, you don't even know, I just lost 2 minutes. I know 2 minutes ain't a lot for you, but when it's 1 AM, it's a lot. Anyway, Deku's eyes, who are now pitch black, as well as his hair, was slowly becoming purple at the tips of it. He immediately rushes at Iida, punching him in the stomach, and then throwing him by his hair to the front of the classroom. He then walks over to him slowly and picks Iida up by his throat and slams him back down to the ground, causing a little crater. He begins to then begin to choke him. Aizawa decides to step in now and says enough, shooting the scarf at Deku, but his dark matter shield just blocks it and blows it away. Aizawa then attempts to cancel his quirk, but Deku's system says, interference with the system detected. Countermeasures are being taken. Suddenly, Aizawa feels his eyes feel like they've been lit on fire. As he looks away, squinting, And Deku then says out loud, "If you talk bad about me or my family again, I'll tear you limb from limb and then feed you to your own family and then kill them. Do you understand me?" Iida, who is now turning blue from lack of oxygen, barely nods, and Deku yells, "I can't hear you." He goes to punch him until Bakugo grabs his arm and says, "That's enough, he learned his lesson," and they both return to their seat. Azao, who was a bit shocked by this, but it's nothing he ain't never seen before, just decides to continue with the class and tells them, "We're gonna go have a fitness test." Everyone gets excited and heads outside as Uraraka gets bitched about why she's talking about an assembly. While everyone else walks out in their costume, Bakugo and Deku was walking out. Oh, 1 second, I've lost my script. While Bakugo and Deku was walking out, Uraraka tried to go up to him, but Melissa got there first and asked, "Teizuku, are you alright?" Deku wasn't blushing this time, still thinking about what that Iida said. Says, "Yeah, I just don't like people and they're talking bad about my family." Melissa sighs and says, "Yeah, that's totally understandable, but I meant, the face you had while you was choking him, it looks lonely." Hearing this, Deku panics and puts his fake smile back on and says, "Nah, it's just, I just miss my dad, that's all." Seeing this, Melissa begins to worry, but Bakugo worries a lot more than she does. And of course, with my lovely microphone being what it is, it cut out yet again. So unfortunately, guys, I don't know how much we lost. The story seems a bit paused and started. It's because of my mic. They finally get out into the field, and Deku, of course, goes up first to throw the ball. He gathers dark matter and regular matter and compresses them into two separate little orbs, but no one else can see. Until he finally throws the ball, he forces these two substances to collide, causing an insane amount of force, pressure, and all that to be created. Energy, force, pressure to be created, sending the ball flying out of the atmosphere into space and breaking through the moon, causing an actual hole to go through the moon. Small one, of course, still the baseball size. This also causes everyone else to get blown away and be mesmerized by this power, finally giving Deku the infinite score. Bakugo went next and using one for all in his thumb, just like Deku did in canon, as well as a powerful explosion that's been boosted by one for all. So he sent the ball flying 2,100 meters, and then for the rest of the test, Deku came first, and Bakugo came second. Soon the lesson ends, and All Might burst into the classroom, as our lesson ends, and All Might burst into the classroom and talking about how he's their combat teacher. Everyone gets excited, except for Melissa, Deku, and Bakugo. If you're wondering, to avoid any fights, Aizawa put Deku and Bakugo to this row. Basically, this is the seating plan for Deku, yeah. On this one row, Kaminaru, Denki, Kirishima, Bakugo, Melissa, Deku. To avoid fights, because Aizawa's not stupid, he realises that if Deku got really pissed off, Bakugo was the one to calm him down, as well as he wanted to play a little matchmaker and set Deku and Melissa up. So Melissa and Deku sat next to each other, with Bakugo next to Deku, as well as Kaminari and Kirishima on the end. There you go. All Might begins to speak, and he reveals that Melissa is his niece, which shocks both Bakugo and Deku. It's announced that they will be doing a hero versus villain experience, and at the start they should put on their costumes. Everyone walks out in their costumes, while Bakugo and Deku just walk out in their normal uniform. And Melissa says to them, "Where's your costume?" Both Deku and Bakugo smirk, fist bumping, and then activating their costumes. Remember, in part 1, Deku's dad gave them both that thing, and he minimized to put in his chest. It's like a magic thing, like Tony Stark's Iron Man suit. It's like a little thing that goes over him in a lot. And asked them, "Where's your costume?" Bakugo and Deku smirk at each other, fist bump. 1 second, and my mic disconnected. I need to get a new mic so bad. Both Deku and Bakugo smirk and fist bumping each other, then activate their costumes. Because if you remember, they had that little gadget that Deku's dad gave them before he died. They activate their costume, shocking everyone. And Melissa begins fangirling over the technology, and especially over when she heard that Deku helped make it. For round 1, it is announced that Deku and Melissa are heroes and Bakugo and Uraraka are villains. It begins and Uraraka rushes towards them and jumps around the corner, attempting to punch Melissa in the face. Well, she has a little crush on Deku, and she don't like that Deku has a little crush on Melissa, you get me? But Deku, of course, catches her fist with ease and slams her into the wall and kicks her on the head. If you're wondering, damn! After Deku's dad died, he stopped really showing mercy to anyone who, like, if it was a fight, it's a fight. He's gonna kick the shit out of you. Whether you're a girl, boy, man, woman, anyone's getting it. His hands are rated equal for everyone, bruv. He believes in equal rights, equal fights, equal rights, equal lefts. And okay, I'm gonna stop. And then he wraps Uraraka in capture take, and everyone after this saw the kick went, damn. They continue walking until finally Bakugo pops around the corner, blasting Deku at point blank range. Everyone watching is shocked until Deku is shown to be perfectly fine, and begins fighting back against Bakugo as Melissa runs to the bomb. Deku activates his electric weapon, swings it at Bakugo, who barely dodges it and uses his explosions and one for all full cow at 5% to throw a Superman punch, sending Deku you know what I mean, like using his explosion to send his hand flying, and then the punch sends Deku flying backwards. And Bakugo begins to run after Melissa until his own shadow trips him up somehow. And Deku appears, now with black lightning sparkling all around him, slams his hand down into the ground and yells, "Dark Domain!" This name, I just wanted to say the name, I like it. This idea came from someone in the comments called Mike Plex. That is spelled Mikeplex. So go show him some love. As the ground beneath Deku begins to become black matter, Bakugo's caught up and surrounded until Melissa finally touches the bomb. And you're wondering, yes, that is Deku's like end move, but it's also the best trapping move, because as soon as you're caught in it, if Deku doesn't want you to move, you're not moving. At the end of the day, Deku asked Bakugo, Melissa, Denki, Kaminari if they wanted to go to his house, and of course they agreed. Uraraka tried asking to come, but Deku just played it off, because he actually thinks she's annoying. He said, "Oh, sorry, there's only so many people allowed, maybe next time." When they got there, Zuko answered the door, and as soon as he saw Melissa, he smirks and said, Of course my big brother would bring home a girl after the first day of school." Hearing this, both Deku and Melissa begin to blush, trying to explain that isn't like that, but Bakugo drones in and says, "You're right, Zuko, I saw them flirting with each other all day, they sit next to each other, and I'm telling you, they were saying something like, oh, no, they were flirting, mate, shit, he already got our number." Deku hearing this shoots Dark Matter Rod at Bakugo, but he dodges this, and then Deku goes to chase him, but is slammed into a wall, as he hears Izumi yelling, "What? No girl's good enough for my brother unless I say she is." As Izumi uses her quirk to hold Izuku in place, as she looks Melissa up and down and questions her, and then finally after about 10 minutes gives the thumbs up, saying, "You have my blessing." At this point, Melissa and Deku were bright red, while Bakugo was rolling around on the ground laughing, until Deku booed him across the house, while he was still laughing. Of course, Kaminari and Denki were holding in the laugh. Kirishima and Denki were holding in the laughter. They spent the rest of the night getting to know each other better, as they played video games all night, like card games, eating, messing about, until they realised that they had been there the whole night and it was now daytime. They realised this because they heard the birds chirping and saw the sun come up through the window. They all panic, shower, get ready, and if you're wondering why they're panicking, it's because there's 5 people there who need to have a shower to get to school. But they all managed to do it and get ready and run to school. They barely arrived in time, and everyone looked at them weirdly at how they all arrived together. But they just sat down and continued laughing. Over the next 2 weeks, they grew closer together, basically become the new Deku/Baki squad, and all of them becoming best friends. So finally, Aizawa announced that they're going on a trip to the USJ. Everyone gets excited as they get on the bus to leave, but Kaminari, he's the most excited at them all and begins to talk. "I'm so excited for this, I've always wanted to go here since I was a little kid. They have the best equipment, the best resources you can ever find." They arrive and are introduced to the Hero 13, but as they are talking, Kirishima yells, "Wow, Kaminari, you're right, this place is so realistic, they've even have fake villains." Hearing this, Aizawa turns around to see Shigaraki and other villains pouring out of a portal. Deku, seeing this portal, instantly smirks as he senses it. He raises his hand and Kurogiri is dragged towards him as Deku laughs and says, "You're completely made out of dark matter. I am the worst matchup for you as you can imagine possible." Deku uses vacuum and absorbs Kurogiri into it, and unlocking a new skill called Portal, as well as just erasing Kurogiri. This portal skill allows Deku to go to any place that he knows of. Shigaraki, already caught off guard by this, yells, "Attack!" as the villains rush at them. Unlike canon, no one is separated, they're all in the same spot, so the villains are beaten much easier, and Aizawa doesn't get injured, like his arm doesn't get decayed, etc. That is until the Nomu appears, punching Aizawa in the side, breaking multiple of his ribs. It begins to run through the class, booting everyone, kicking them away. and the only ones there who were able to hold their own were Kaminari, Kirishima, and Bakugo. It runs at them, but Deku intercepts it, blasting it. One second. But Deku intercepts it, blasting it away using his dark matter explosions, and tells them all to run. At first they refuse, but Deku yells, "This isn't someone you can beat, just listen to me." They run away, and Deku begins to fight the Nomu, figuring out his abilities. He creates a sword of dark matter and cuts his arm and legs off, but they just regrow. He then uses an electric whip, but it does barely anything. Deku then goes on as he jumps in the air and punches the Nomu, but has little effect. He then thinks shock absorption, super strength, instant healing. That's your quirks. Finally, All Might actually does arrive, because yeah, Iida did go and get him. And he arrives to see the battle commencing as he jumps in, punching a Nobu, but yet again this has no effect. And as it sends a punch hurtling towards All Might's injury, All Might knows shit. Because if that hits, his hero career is done, because this wasn't like a little grab, it was a full force punch. But thankfully, Deku manages to block it just in time, and he orders him just to protect the students. All Might's listened as the entire class watches on in terror, thinking, All Might's punch didn't do anything. Oh, what can even he do? Deku looks at both Bakugo and Melissa in the eye before he stares the Nomu down. Deku's fake smile disappears, and it returns to his real face, the cold, dark, and motionless one. As Deku enters assault mode, the air around him begins to become visibly darker as it's turning into dark matter and being absorbed into Deku's body. As Deku begins to grow stronger and clash with the Nomu. At first the Nomu seemed to be the winner, like being able to be stronger, but slowly, ever so slowly, Deku began to overpower it. This is due to his assault mode's power to continuously grow stronger. However, even though he was now winning, Deku could feel his stamina draining rapidly. But he knew he couldn't pass out, and Nomu would attack his friends in a last-ditch effort. Would attack his friends. In a last-ditch effort, Deku gathered all the dark matter he could and screamed, "Dark Domain!" as the entire USJ became Deku's domain. And the Nomu was hit with attack after attack after attack until eventually it's broken down enough and the domain rips up from the ground and consumes it, and finally ending the fight. Deku falls unconscious as Shigaraki begins to scream about how it was unfair and lunge at Deku, just trying to turn him into dust. Before he reaches Deku, Deku grabs his wrist and looks up with his eyes now completely black as well as his hair. This wasn't Deku in control anymore. It was something else, something darker. As Deku crushes Shigaraki's wrist, causing him to scream, this dark Deku barely stands up as he grabs Shigaraki's face, slamming it into the ground. He was about to stab Shigaraki until out of nowhere another masked man appeared, punching Deku away. Seeing him, All Might mutters, "All for one." All for one laughs and says, "All Might, it's a shame that I need to help my little student here, or else I could finish our little dispute, as should I call it." Deku then suddenly out of nowhere comes flying back in with a punch with his fist covered in dark matter. This had power behind it, sending All for One flying away, but before Deku could stab him with a sword, he opens up a portal beneath him, escaping. Deku, still in his weird form, stands up and looks around at everyone and begins to speak.
You should all be ashamed, unable to see his pain. He fights through it every single day to save everyone else in any way that he can, all the while hiding in his own feelings, hiding in his tears, in his sorrow. You all say you're his friends, but you leave him to suffer in silence.
After this, Deku's eyes return to normal and passes out, leaving everyone there confused. Other than that, guys, if you did enjoy, make sure you share with your friends, family, like and subscribe, hit that notification bell to never miss another daily upload. Get me to 22,000 subscribers if you get me. Okay, oh shit, we'll go down to the description here. You'll see my Discord, join that. You'll see my Snapchat, add that. You'll see my Insta, follow that. Also, if you see my thumbnail artist is Dyslexic Dolphin, go subscribe to him. Get him to 1,000 subscribers. Help me out a bunch. And other than that, guys, I'm not gonna drag this out too long because you got your own shit to do. So I'm gonna say, other than that, much love. See you later, my dudes. Peace. Actually, guys, seriously, I hope you did enjoy it. Bye.